guys, and welcome to Bomb Anime. It's your girl,
Ruka.
A big boy Sam here, bringing you a part 2 of Hot or Not.
Welcome to this episode of Hot or Not Part 2. Today, Dragon's Dogma is in the hot seat again. We've already judged the first episode and binged the entire season. Is this anime certified hot or just a waste of time?
As always, like, share, and subscribe. You know what it is. Let's get right into it. So guys, just a disclaimer, this is Ruka's favorite anime. She loves it. If you watched the first one, you know how much she loved it and how much she kept talking about how she was looking forward to watching this, and I made a great choice in choosing this one. Ruka, over to you.
Moving into this episode, my first comment really was when I started watching the second episode was that even though Ethan was so emotional when he realized that his wife was gone and he's looking through the rubble and screaming in agony, I just kept thinking, oh, all the words are completely right, but I feel nothing because the emotion wasn't there. What's going on Netflix? This voice actor, I'm sorry, really missed the mark.
So like when you're at work and that snooty person pretend to be nice, oh my god, I really love your talk. You know when they give you that fake praise, but you know that the words sound right, but the emotion is absolutely hollow, there's nothing behind it, and she's the one going through your desk and stealing your stuff.
That seemed oddly specific. Are you okay? Do you need a hug?
I got some issues.
So we watched this in English. We usually watch anime in Japanese, but we watched it in English because that was the original language. But in the middle of watching it, I actually had to check that English was its original language. I don't understand how it was so bad. And I just wanted to, I know this is probably a weird side note, but I really wanted to know why Ethan excessively hunted when he couldn't preserve any of the meat. It just didn't make any sense.
I actually noticed that as well. But could that not have been the beginning stages of his deterioration?
I don't think it was, because at that point he wasn't displaying any of that. I just feel like there was a bunch of different things that happened in this anime that didn't sit right with me because it made it lack realism, and it was obvious. I could see it in my face and it bothered me throughout, and this is one of those things. So this wasn't the only thing that was like that.
So I want to make a note about the one time we saw fast travel. It was pretty cool, and you're doing an epic journey to go to a dragon, and you're telling me there's only 2 nodes in the whole world. Couldn't just fast travel all the way to the dragon. You were trying to get there quick, right? The pawn used the fast travel literally in the second episode, then we never saw it again. You know what? There's a lot of niggling inconsistencies that we're just gonna drop as we do this video.
Including the name Hannah. Why would you give a name that's supposed to be precious to you to an empty vessel that you've known for 5 minutes?
I'm gonna call you the name I would have called my daughter. That's my mama's name. What the
I know, it was just so sentimental, and to just be like, okay, empty vessel, here you go. I want to say though, whoever was in control of the music did an amazing job. It was so cinematic. The music always was banging. The music elevated this for me.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm standing here laughing, and I'm laughing at her, by the way. The music was great. I just think that if I'm watching an anime and the first good thing I can say is the music, we're about to run into some problems.
I know you're talking about animes, but I watch a lot of period dramas and stuff like that. I really like them, and the music really brings it out, and it reminded me of that kind of situation. This anime felt kind of similar to that.
I get what you mean. Yeah, you're right. The music did bang.
I want to move on to the realism of it all. I expect an anime to hold its weight. I've said this before in other animes that we have done. I expect an anime to hold its weight in its weight class. I don't expect to see it all over the place. I'm thinking, how is Ethan so shocked about an arisen and he doesn't seem to know anything about it, and he's shocked about this magic girl, but yet every single person they run into from any backwater village knows exactly everything. They know about arisen, they know about pawns, there's griffins all over the place, there's this mythic, there's a succubus over here. Did they forget? Was this anime made in several parts by different people and then they just pushed it together?
Yeah.
You know, so there's certain animes where they actually will do this and they'll have different people who do different things and they'll bring it together like an anthology.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe it was that.
Okay, I agree with you. The inconsistent is very annoying.
Glaring.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's right in your face. It's horrible. It's off a game, off an RPG sort of game. So you show me fast travel once, you never use it again. There's no mounts, but you know, the game was made ages ago, so mounts probably wasn't a thing. But the RPG elements of your main character, he was wooden. It felt like watching someone play Mass Effect, but doing the a-hole version. But it wasn't done fulfilling enough. I didn't grow with the character. Do you know who my favorite character was? Hannah. And she was the most like wooden in the beginning and then slightly got better. Except for in episode 3 where we got Balthazar and Simon and them two added a little bit of life into the team.
I actually said that watching this was like watching someone do one main quest and then a couple of side quests, but you don't get the explanation in the beginning. You know how you go to the person to get your quest and they give you the backstory and you understand what's going on. It was like the main quest, adventure side quest, but without that bit. No explanation and then no rewards.
Normally I say show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
This one needed a bit of tell me. This anime needed tell me a lot. I didn't know what the reason was until like literally episode 6, was it? Like I still don't know what the whole porn deal is. How did they exist? When did they come into being? Why are they existed? Like I don't know none of that.
Why did she seem to have so much knowledge but then didn't know the actual bit of knowledge that actually mattered?
Yeah, like
I said the same thing as you, but I was saying that I don't care if this is like an adaptation from a game. I shouldn't need to go play the game to understand what on earth is going on, and I shouldn't have to go wiki the hell out of this to figure it out. You should have done that job yourself. The Witcher is another one we can use. We can use that as an example.
Yeah.
A recent example of a game and then having an actual adaptation. You can watch the adaptation and you do not need to go ahead and look at any extra information. It tells you exactly what's going on. It takes you through the story very well. And I just wish that they had taken some notes before they decided to fumble around in the dark with this one. I did like Simon and Balthazar as well. I thought that they elevated the anime quite a lot. I actually enjoyed watching them together. I loved the banter between the two guys. I liked their personalities. They had very distinct personalities and you could just tell that they've been friends for a long time. I really enjoyed them on screen. I wish that we'd seen more of them. I wish that instead of parting ways, they had grouped up a little bit.
I mean, I even liked Elizabeth, but you know, she brought life into the show as well.
I liked Elizabeth, but I didn't appreciate the way they handled her character. I felt like they sort of set her character up to fail, like they wanted us to really dislike her. And it felt, even the scene, how we first met her, it felt like that didn't need to happen. I don't know why there was any kind of assault because it didn't bring anything to the story.
I don't know goblins that do that to humans. In any game, any literature, any law.
There is.
There is? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I'll take your word for it, but that's saying that, as you said, it didn't move the story along. What I wanted to say, like, to piggyback off Ruka's point about Balthazar and Simon, should have been in the group. Your quest is to go and kill a dragon. Who are you, fam? Like, you're some little human being. I don't care how strong you are. You're a little human being and your job is to go and kill a dragon. Don't you arm up as many people as you can trust as possible to go with you. Look, there was no magical items. There was no potions. The armor that he had from day one is the armor that he carried on the whole way through. No upgrades. No resting in the inns.
Who goes to battle a dragon with no shields? Everybody knows that they breathe fire.
I'm going to fight something that breathes fire on me. I'm going to bring a flammable cape.
It was really silly, and I feel like it was plot armor. If they did any of those things, he wouldn't have gotten to the end and just gone for revenge, because he would have had people who would have noticed his behavior, just like Simon and Balthazar, and they would have pulled him back.
Yeah.
And then there would have been no turning into a dragon. So in order to just get to that point, they had to remove a lot of stuff. That's what it felt like to me.
I disagree and I agree at the same time. But I disagree because they could have definitely got to the end point the same way.
In 7 episodes.
The writers got lazy and killed off everything that could have made him human. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, these two brought a little bit of levity into the show. Dead. These two brought a little bit of lust into the show. Dead. These two brought conflict. dead. This guy was ruining his city, dead. Like, do you know what I mean? It was
yeah. No, all of the actual interesting characters who could have actually given us more of an interesting show were just removed really crazily. Like, even the bad characters actually had something interesting about them.
Yeah, I agree. I was totally down as well, yeah.
So I did feel like the writing was a little bit lazy, but at the same time, if you're told that you only have 7 episodes to tell this much of the story, something is going to suffer.
Remember when we watched the first half of Chronicles?
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt the same way. Unlike this one with Idhun Chronicles, the story carried it for me. I really wanted to know what happened. With this one, I'm like, you wrapped it up in 7 episodes. I could have had a 7-episode fight. I would have been happy.
They might do the same thing and give it another 7 episodes later on, but I don't really see why. It just feels finished for me.
With this one, yeah, you're right. It doesn't need anything else because everything was wrapped up in a neat little bow. And if it stuck out, it was dead.
To be honest though, I did actually like the way that we saw Ethan's gradual deterioration into losing his humanity.
I disagree, but carry on.
Oh, okay. I liked that we could see it happening in front of us and that Hannah was catching it a little bit, but because she's so inexperienced with human nature, she didn't understand what was normal and what wasn't in order to actually help him out in any kind of significant way.
I thought it was rushed.
Well, of course, it's 7 episodes.
And yeah, exactly. I get that. But I'm sorry, like, this didn't do the anime justice in terms of actually telling us the story. And so they rushed his deterioration because it could have been a lot better. If they had 12 episodes, it would have been obviously the right amount of time.
But there was no more story because they got rid of all of the interesting characters that could have added some more richness to the show. I didn't understand the whole 7 deadly sins of it. It didn't really seem to make sense. It just seemed like they had a concept and they were just like, okay, let's just make episodes that fit in with this and we'll talk about his pride and revenge at the end.
Rookie, you're wrong.
Okay.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Go on.
Let's talk about what actually happened in each one. So, gluttony. The mayor was fat. Gluttony, done. Envy. The guy killed the woman because he was envious of Ethan. Done. Sloth. Guys were lazy because they were smoking the good stuff. Greed. Obviously, Balthazar and Simon. I mean, that one was on the nose again. Lust. Do I need to say any more about succubus? And pride. The dragon. This one is the one where I can go, yeah, you know what? That was convoluted even for me. It was still prideful. I mean, 7 episodes. They just hit it on the nose. And it was so on the nose that you had to disregard it.
I felt like envy and pride at the end just didn't make any sense. I killed my wife because I was having so much trouble with this one because it just didn't feel like envy. Though acted like he snapped, like he had a mental breakdown and killed her and then came back to his senses. It didn't have a good representation of envy, and I don't know how wanting revenge for someone literally ruining your entire life equals pride.
To be honest, it should have been wrath.
Exactly.
I agree with the pride one. Bob, do you know what pride actually means?
This would be one of those where I'd be like, oh, maybe that's a mistranslation. But it was made in English, so I don't know what to say.
So, what about that scene with the succubus?
I actually thought that this was a really powerful scene. It was done really well. It was probably the best part of Ethan that I've seen.
It was the best part of the show.
I liked the way they had the succubus act like his wife. Her voice was the same. She looked like his wife. And just as he was about to do the deed, he realized that this couldn't be his wife. And he proceeded to choke him out.
I don't know. I have to give him credit for this because I know personally, I don't think I'd be able to do something like that. It looks like your significant other. It sounds like your significant other. But your hands are wrapped around their throat to end their life. That is some powerful stuff. It showed, I guess, strength of will.
Wrong.
Let's hear it from a woman's perspective.
This was really when we knew for sure that his humanity was really gone, because when Hannah offered him the grace of doing it for him, he said, nah, I'm cool.
Nah.
I'm good.
He said, stay out of this.
And he carried on choking her out as she had his wife's voice and face. I don't know. Like, your waifu was actually pregnant as well. I don't know. I don't know about that one. That's when I just knew, okay, it's done.
I get where you're coming from, but if you see it from Ethan's point of view, you had the audacity to impersonate my dead wife who was killed by the sole reason that I'm making this journey in the first place. How dare you? You deserve to die by my hand. And I get what you're saying, because like, at the end of the day, you love this woman, she was pregnant for you. How could you do that to someone who looks even close to that?
Don't get me wrong, I completely feel the same way. I think that he was thinking that. Doesn't change what I said. Just before we close this thing out, let's talk about the fight at the end between Ethan and the dragon. What did you think about that?
I thought it was rubbish. As I said earlier, you didn't bring nothing to the fight that could help you win the fight. And what was it you were saying about Ethan and swords?
Oh my gosh, that was irritating me because the animation was really lazy. He would lose his sword multiple times in fights inside Beast's back, and then it would just be respawned at his hip. What was going on with that? Because apparently there's no magic.
That aside, you brought nothing to the fight to try and beat the dragon. There's no way you could have won this fight if those convenient little stumps of wall that could take the dragon's breath was there twice. And when the dragon's chasing you down a narrow corridor, rather than shooting straight forward, it was hitting up, down, side, everywhere. I mean, I guess all of that could be explained away as the dragon was trying to commit suicide or whatnot. But what kind of fight is this? You had 7 episodes and you dedicated 1 episode to the fight. Bruv, Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen had a fight in less than 6 minutes that was better than this. Get out of here, fam. This fight was rubbish, bruv. Damn. I'm upset now. I'm upset. Why did I pick this one?
I didn't think it was that bad.
What? Get out of here. What? Did you watch the same fight, fam?
No, I did. But by the time I got to episode 7, I was just like, by episode 7,
look,
I was just thinking, stop caring about physics, because no, they don't give a crap. So I just started ignoring a bunch of stuff. Like, that's how I got through it. So I just ignored a bunch of stuff. I ignored as much as I could, and then just tried to enjoy the episode. And the whole episode as a whole was quite an emotional episode. It was like there was loads of different emotional roller coasters. I was paying attention. I was paying more attention than I had been to the rest of the anime. It gave me the same sort of feeling as the scene with the whole succubus thing. It was a decent episode. I didn't appreciate the whole dragon's weird logic to why he was doing it. It didn't make sense. None of that made sense, so I just discarded it. You felt the same way?
No, that's the only bit that made sense to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, it's classic cosmic horror. Now, I like cosmic horror, so Lovecraft, anything with Cthulhu, all of that stuff, SCP, stuff like that, I think it's amazing. So, obviously, the dragon was saying, bro, like, humans are insignificant. I'm here to kill them. That's it. What are you going to do, bro? It just wasn't enough for me.
No, that bit was fine. He lost me when he started saying, I kill because it's my nature. What's your excuse? When he literally ripped out the guy's heart, killed his wife and unborn child, killed his adopted child, ruined his whole village and murdered all of his friends. I just couldn't understand how he was asking that question. Like, what's your excuse for being here, wanting to do this? You! Like, you murdered my whole everything?
Do you know what's worse as well? For all the weaves out there, and you know we love you too. Olivia was an amazing waifu, to be fair. She took him for what he was, then tried to change him and loved him for who he was. And that dragon said, yeet!
Okay, guys, let's get to it. Do you think that this anime was certified hot or just a waste of time?
This anime was a waste of time.
Well, if you want what I think, I have to say waste. Waste! It was a waste of time. I am so upset because I knew it was going to be a waste of time, but of course, when Big Boy Sama picks an anime, what do you expect? We'll be back with a different hot or not, and I will be the one that picks it, so don't worry. Comment down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Peace, because Big Boy Salmon doesn't deserve to close it out this time.